featuring Professor Ken and Rick in The Lion's Den.
You know, they old school.
Right.
So, they mean different things to different people. A player in 1972 would be different than a player in 1982, in 1992, in 2002, 2022. We used to call players in 1972 gigolos. Guys who had a bunch of women and they played a game. They played games on their girlfriends, on their wives, and they just played the field. That's what a player was in the 70s. But, if you go back to the 40s and the 50s, a player was a street dude, who understand the game. He played the game. He understood how to do three-card money, topping ball, pimping, drug dealing, all this. Those people who played the street games, that's what they would call players. That was back in the 50s and the 60s and the early days.
Right.
You move forward, I don't want to be a player no more. Then, it's a different thing. Now, a player is somebody, who can, deal with multiple women. Have this woman, that woman, this woman, that woman, this woman, this woman, this woman, this woman, that woman. And they can play the field, and then women would look at them as cheaters. So if you was a player, in the later part of the game, you're a cheater. Now, a player today, I don't know what a player is. I think a player today is a combination of all those things I just mentioned.
Right.
So when you find a guy back in the 60s or the 70s or the 80s who was a pimp, he always figured that pimping was the elite level of the game, and that players were just below the pimp. They had the potential to be a pimp, but they were below it. So a pimp figured, because you go and play for your money, I sit at home, pick my toes, and spend my money in shopping stores, tell them to stand on the door, go out there and give me some more. That's how the pimp's out. So he was thinking man, I don't play no games. I don't even turn my radio on because it play. You know what I'm saying? So he had a different perspective. So when you call him a player, he's like, man, that ain't me. Well, a lot of dudes didn't know that the first P in pimping was playing. Because you have to so much play, but because, other lower level hustlers use that term player to describe what that was. A lot of P's didn't want to be associated with that.
Right.
But a lot of the mechanics that it went into breaking a bra is the same mechanics that go into any hustle, because it's always con, bait, switch. So, once you understand the formalities of game, then you realize that, we all play a game. It's just, the P game was the elite game, because you were able to get somebody else to go out there and do whatever you need them to do, and you was the puppet master. You had them on your puppet strings, so that's why a lot of dudes didn't want to be called a player, because and then those who were players before they were P's, they felt like they graduated, because you could be sitting on 11th Avenue in New York, there could be 100 P's up there, and one player come around and all those P's are scattered. The pimps are scattered because they don't want to be associated with a player, or you could walk up to a P and say, what's up, man? And say, what you do, man? Oh, I'm a player. And he won't even, his mind will go blank at that point. He won't look at you as no P. He just look at you as a hustler, or, somebody that got some game.
Right.
But, some of these young people, who in the game today, they can say they're a player, and it could be a pimp, it could be a gigolo, it could be a ladies' man, it could be a man that cheat on his wife, it could mean all those things at the same time. And I think that that's the problem with the game. The glory and the shame has been misplaced. People don't know who's who, what's going on. They don't know if they're coming or if they're going. They don't know if it's heads or tail. They don't know if it's a wall or a floor. Or they don't know if it's a yay or a nay. People just confused. And the game is so far gone, because, people got to realize, too, when you talk about the P game, you talk about the playing game, all those games essentially has been neutralized. Because when you was a player or a pimp 30 years ago, 40 years ago, but that means that you had the ability to hustle without going to prison. I'm a player. I hustle craps. I'm a player. I shortchange. You know what I'm saying? Everything I'm doing is misdemeanor, but I'm getting felony money. But today, anything you do is a felony. You know what I'm saying? You know, they used to look down on the jack boys. Y'all call them jack boys. We used to call them armed robbers. stick-up kids. They look down on them. They look down on the dope dealer. You know what I'm saying? Because they said, man, he taking too many chances. He got to go through too many hands. My money only come to one hand, and that's the bribe. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm playing one sucker at a time. You know what I'm saying? I ain't worried about all these, whatever. So it was just a different perspective. But, mainly the reason why a lot of guys that want to be called players was they felt like it was an insult because it was like a graduation, like going from, varsity to junior varsity. They feel like these dudes was junior varsity and they was varsity.
Right. Well, I look at it like this. I give you a scenario and you tell me how you evaluate the scenario. Okay, the player say a player is conversating with, a P of today. These are both of the people of today, not of 10 years or 20 or 30 years of today. So the player, say he has 5 females that pay him. They all work jobs. They all may be essential workers, so they're still working during this time. But say the P, he may have 5 women, but he's struggling now to have them in certain positions now because of what's going on. In the player's mind, he feels he's weathering the storm better than the P. Would he be right or would he be wrong?
Well, they two different entities, 2 different mentalities. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, it depends on the individual. If you got an individual that's in the game and so I have 4 or 5 girls or whatever, then COVID-19 hit the market. Who to say he ain't got $1 million put up?
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? So, even though the player might be playing, he feels that he can get out here, he can still put a move down. It might be really counterproductive to be out here in the disease-infected environment trying to put a move down while the P just sit at home and like, I've been checking money for a year straight out of $5. I got a ticket saved up. He can sit back, he can laugh at the player and be like, yeah, go on out there, fool. Take a life chance. And then, on the other side, a player could have been in play for $1 million. He could have the money put up. And then the P can be on drugs. He could be on syrup. He could be on heroin. He could be on cocaine. And he could have been getting a lot of money and probably hiding his habit pretty good because he gets so much money. He probably, paying his girl's bills. But in reality, he dead broke. So now, the bras gonna look at him like, what happened to all our money? So he might not be able to survive where the player who played for some money, he might have played somebody, he might have sold 5, keys, fake keys or whatever, sold some fake pounds or whatever, and played for a lot of money. So he sitting back, he chilling while the P is about to lose all his people.
So basically, like you said, it can go either or depending on that individual person. That makes sense.
Yeah, life is always based on individuality, man. I've met some great dudes, man. I've met some great dudes who were well learned, that was educated, that was in the game. I've met some dudes, man, who had millions of dollars, but could fight themselves out of a wet paper bag with dumb in a bag of nickels. You know what I'm saying? I mean, couldn't even put a full sentence together. But, it's the individual, you know what I'm saying? It's the individual, in every walk of life, it's the individual. Like even in the business world, I meet some characters that I thought was great, turn out to be not so great. I meet characters that I'm skeptical of, turn out to be, great business deals. So it's always based on the individual, I mean, there's 2 different mentalities, I mean, I've been on both sides of the fence. I tend to side with the P side because, I was able to make a lot of money in that game.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I know that if that game was played right, it's very profitable, so I would do that rather than try to, shoot some crooked dice or, sell somebody a fake key or, go out there and, try to run some con on somebody and take a chance on what we call in the streets, getting a kickback. See, in the game, in the P game, ain't no kickbacks. Not no immediate kickbacks. It ain't like, you sell somebody something and they come out to get you. I mean, at the most, the broad gonna leave you. She gonna get caught up by the police. And you know, the kickback is if she tell the police on you, yeah, you're going to jail. She snitch on you. But that happens so rare in the game that sometimes that prize is worth the chase. That prize is worth the chase. That prize is worth the chase.
This is my book, The Art of Human Chess. It's a bestseller, New York best time seller. And this book here sold millions, sold all over the world, all throughout the prison system. This is the book, The 48 Laws of Game Pepology. Make sure you get these books. If you don't want to buy the hardcover, if you don't want to buy the paperback, then the best thing to do is go to iTunes on your cell phone and type in my name, Pimpin' Ken, and I guarantee the book will pop up. If they don't work, go to audible.com, type in my name. If they don't work, go to amazon.com, type in my name. Anywhere books is sold all over the country, you can get my books. These are my bestseller books. You hear people talk about them all the time on Instagram, on Snapchat. These are definitely some good reads. Please get my book. I guarantee you that you will never be the same. Your life will be impacted, and also your life will be enhanced just by getting these two books, The Art of Human Chess and The 48 Laws of Game. Just like the 48 Laws of Power, just like The Art of War.
Too cool to count 24/7.